True. I'm here with Dodge Landesman. If you are not subscribed, please check out
I'm honored. Thank you.
Heck yeah.
And subscribe to Jacob Harkey as well.
Thank you. And as Dodge said, we are in an interesting place today. We are outside of the Church of Scientology's international base in unincorporated Riverside County near Hemet, California. Today is Dodge's last day in California, potentially, for a little bit, or at least in SoCal.
Yeah.
So I figured this might be a fun...
Yeah, it's a fun little goodbye, definitely.
So where we're walking past right now, we can see the Golden Era Golf Course. And this is Highway 79, which bisects the property. Gosh, where the sun is positioned right now, it's hard to see that without the rays. But if you could read through those rays, it says Golden Era Golf Course right there. Kara Feebles in the chat says, Jacob, road trip for the ages. Road trip for the ages indeed. Thank you for being here, Kara. Linda Perala says, I live east of that place, about 10 miles away from there.
Oh, that close.
Oh, so you know this place then. You're not as...
As I think.
Okay, so what is this building right here? One thing that I did do for today is I printed out some maps so that I could try to have an idea of where we are. And
So he's asking, if anybody used the golf course, it looks like this would be a perfect time, perfect weather. No golfing, and there's nobody here. Nobody on it.
oh yeah, I'm sure the golf course doesn't get used except when Tom Cruise is here, maybe. Maybe when Tom Cruise comes. And honestly, I don't think that Tom Cruise does come to the Imp Base anymore, because I don't think Miscavige comes to the Imp Base anymore, from what I understand.
I heard that.
I think pretty much everybody, sad. I think pretty much everybody who works at the Imp Base is somebody who has seen or been near Miscavige beating, or at the very least verbally abusing his staff. And
All
I
the
think
happy memories, that's the sad part.
yeah, I think
Maybe
Miscavige,
smart, but a beautiful way.
he's looking to stay away, as far away from all those people as he can. So, wonder when the last time Mark Yeager or Guillaume Lesevre happened to see Miscavige in person. I'm sure it's been years.
So the golf course is pretty expansive, as you can see. We're still walking along. And it's just another example of all the spaces utilized.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of no point to it. But as we walk along the golf course, we'll come up to the main area. And we should at least see how high the fences are.
I am curious to see that too, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at logistically how easy it truly is to escape.
Hey, Fingy, nice to have you in here. So here is another little entrance that I was under the impression that it would be very hard to get over the fences necessary for anybody to be able to escape, but unless there's a fence that somebody has to get over to even get to this part of the property, it doesn't actually seem as hard as I anticipated.
Well, yeah, it looks like there's, at the main part, there's some sort of wall, but I don't
Yeah, Fingy, this is Gold Base.
I don't know how significant that wall is.
Yeah, maybe if we...
You want to cross the street, get a better view?
Yeah, let's go after this car. Yeah. Good call.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, check this out right here. So let me see if I can figure out what buildings those would be. As I understand it, this is the south side. Now I see, do I see that that building specifically named? I guess maybe that's just the building that corresponds to the golf course. Maybe they've got the golf clubs in there, who knows? Linda Perella says bungalows, could be. I do see a parking lot over here, it looks like, if my eyes don't deceive me. Don't see any cars in the parking lot, but I do think that's what I appear to see. It looks like here is a green right here. If I can remember my golf terms, I guess this would be fairway, this would be green.
Wow, you know yourself. Okay, yeah.
Most of what I know about golf, I know from Wii. Anybody play Wii golf back in the day? I was never much of a gamer, but Wii Sports was... It did get into those ones. Danny Dash says, just got here, is this in Hemet? So Hemet is the city that Dodge and I met up in today. However, technically the Gold Base is in unincorporated Riverside County. So it's actually outside the borders of any city.
Oh, it's not in Jatumba Hot Springs or...
Jacinto Hot Springs. I don't know. Well, sometimes it'll say San Jacinto as the city, like when I look it up on Google Maps or something.
Yeah.
But as I understand it, it's considered unincorporated Riverside County, so it's outside. And so what I would usually hear people who had stayed here, people like Mike Rinder, I would hear them say that this is an unincorporated Riverside County near Hemet, because Hemet is the closest town.
Hey, county, I'm staying in Riverside, a whole hour away.
Yeah, I hit Dodge up and I was like, how long are you in California for? You want to meet up? And he was like, I'm leaving this weekend. And I was like, oh, where are you staying? He was like, Riverside. I was like, Riverside? Oh, are you near the Gold Base?
That's not far. I didn't even realize it.
Did you just get some debris from that truck that drove by in your face? Yeah, I felt that. As y'all can see, there's no sidewalk here, and there's not even really much of a spot for cars to pull over in a lot of the road that leads up to the Gold Base. And that's very on purpose, because Scientology does not want people pulling their cars over and checking this place out, which is why we parked nearby to walk. This is a beautiful golf course.
It's really massive.
The fountain.
I guess it's all artificially planted, I suppose. It wasn't natural like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine it was not all natural. I would imagine grass was put here. Stephen Miller says, isn't this where Valerie Haney escaped from? Yes, in 2016, Valerie Haney did escape from this property in the trunk of a non-Scientologist actor's car. Oh, darn, more roadkill.
It's sad that this is beautiful. I mean, this is a beautiful walking area. Like, here's a nice view, maybe you don't get to enjoy. Have fun. Why are you walking on the road, John Davidson said? Because this is a bit of a truck road. Most truck road, this is the road to going clear. This is we're walking down the main road along the end space, along the Golden Era Productions, Gold Space, whatever you want to call it. So that's what we're checking out. Because I have some overts I've been withholding.
You have some overts? You got to write up your OWs?
I do.
Get some sec checking, learn about your Eve perps.
Yeah, all of that. I've been freeloading. I got a real jet.
Oh, Kara, is that an article about Valerie Haney's escape that you got on there? Because yes, folks, if you have not read about Valerie Haney's escape from Scientology, it's a story worth looking into. If you watch season 3, episode 1 of Leah Remini's Scientology in the Aftermath, you will see Valerie's episode where she tells her story. She is also suing the church, and Dodge, you and I have been to a hearing in Valerie's lawsuit where the judge basically just confirmed that, yep, this is out of my hands. An arbitration agreement was signed and a contract is a contract, so there's nothing that I can do. Oh, that was a disappointing day. Were you at that one with me? I can't remember.
No, that one. Well, I'm curious. The motion that happened like 2 days ago, was that for Gavin Potter or for Valerie Haney, do you know?
There have been recent updates in both. The most recent one...
It's based on the same premise, right, of religious arbitration?
Well, both of them have encountered that hurdle, and unfortunately Valerie's has... Valerie's has been more stalled, and the judge has shown less willingness to even listen to any of the merits of the case, or like the judge in Valerie's lawsuit has unfortunately given Scientology pretty much what they've wanted, which is just put the case into arbitration and don't get involved. Oh, Stephen Miller says 60 Minutes Australia has a segment on Valerie's story, so that's worth checking out too. As far as what happened recently, I know that there was a recent hearing in the Jane Doe v. Religious Technology Center lawsuit, and to be honest, I don't know if... Oh, are you okay? Do you have a...
I accidentally pressed green screen and I don't know how to press it on. Like, I don't know what I did.
Uh-oh. Wait, what is it you pressed? Oh, retouch? Retouch?
No, green screen.
Oh, green screen.
Oh, here we go. Nothing. Okay,
cool. But I know that there was a recent development specifically involving David Miscavige in the Jane Doe v. Religious Technology Center et al. Case, where Gavin Potter is one of the defendants. Yeah. To be honest, I'm hesitant to speak too confidently about it because I haven't read into it as much as I could. And folks, I miss the days that I could go into the courtroom and pay attention to the hearings firsthand, but working full time, it's tougher to make that happen. But thankfully, I have the time for a weekend outing to Gilman Hot Springs.
There's some hiking trails here and stuff, and it's funny how not actually that isolated it is. Because if you went over the fence, you could walk. Well, we just kind of did that. You walked from the shopping center, and it was what? We were walking for 20 minutes, 25 minutes?
Something like that. That sounds about right.
It's not nearly in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's still relatively in the middle of nowhere, but not nearly as much as I thought.
Although if a blow drill was run immediately after somebody jumped over the fence, it wouldn't take long for them to be intercepted. Gosh, it really is a beautiful, like, meadow-looking area right here. Like, this would be such a great place for, like, a retreat. Like, I think of, like, choir retreats that I would do when I was in high school. This would be, like, such a fun place to come for a retreat, stay in the berthing. I wonder if Delphi Academy ever lets their students do retreats. Probably not, because the location of the gold base is so top secret. Karen Hall says, where are you at? This is the Church of Scientology's international headquarters in Riverside County near Hemet. All right, so what is this right here?
Coming back, actually walking to the golf course.
Well, it does say private property, no trespassing, but we could walk up the road a little bit before we get to the metal bar right here, it looks like. Nice calm waters over there. Do I see feet underneath the fence over there? Or maybe that's just a plant on the other side.
Yeah, well, beyond it looks like a farmer's plot.
It looks like, yeah, I could see that, definitely. Yeah, I had heard that there was a golf course here. It didn't occur to me that a golf course is like multiple holes worth of golfing. Like there's actually a good stretch of this property that is just golf. Oh, we got a car. Oh, he's probably looking at us. Ooh, all right, you want to keep moving?
Yeah.
Probably the move. We have not trespassed. We have not stepped over any barriers. Stephen Miller says it's where David Miscavige's father escaped from, too. Yes, that is correct. Ron Miscavige Sr. did indeed escape from Scientology from this base. And we'll come up fairly soon on an entrance for cars, where cars can enter in if you, of course, get buzzed in and are allowed in. But at that spot, you can cross from the south side of the property over to the north, and as I understand it, it would be something that Ron Miscavige Sr. would do regularly with his wife, just drive from one side of the property to the other. But instead of just staying straight, he turned and floored it, and that's how he escaped in 2012. Yeah, and Ron Miscavige Sr., as David Miscavige's father, certainly enjoyed perks that not all Scientology staff would. Because yes, most of the staff on this property, I would be willing to bet, does not have access to a car. Some probably don't even have a license. Kim Holman says Claire and Mark Headley also escaped here. Yes, I was actually listening to a podcast by Claire Headley and Tony Ortega today while I was on my way over here. And yes, if you haven't heard their story, you can hear that in Mark Headley's book, Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology. They've also told their story on Leah Remini, Scientology in the Aftermath, and it's good. Yeah. Well, no, look at that. There's definitely the double-sided razor wire right there.
Well, I could hop off. I see the razor wire. If you can see it, guys.
And so I think those are motion sensors right there. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure that there are sensors that are right here so that if somebody does happen to hop over, security will be alerted immediately. Right. Can y'all see the double-sided wires? The razors going in each direction? Oh, goodness.
You know what they do, too? They have all the cactus here.
This is true. They also have, oh my gosh, yeah, it literally is right on the other side of the fence right there. So even if you do make it over the fence without getting cut by the fence, you're landing in cactus. Yeah. My goodness, I actually don't think I even realized that. I do see somebody working up there.
There's no cactus on the other side. My name is one on the side. I think it is now. they're protected.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was area. I think we could go up potentially later on.
Maybe. I do see it, private property, no trespassing there now. I didn't see that earlier. I do see it now. Which is interesting because it doesn't look like, well. Oh, is that right? Yeah, I can hear the tools.
So, you know,
Hey, Thomas Moo Anderson, the Neo Usul. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, we do have somebody polishing a wagon over here.
now that somebody's observing us.
Yep, we got a few people right there.
HDTV.
Hello.
This is a YouTube for HDTV, greatest landscapes in Southern California. So we have to praise the Scientologists.
Okay, we have a tennis court right here. It's a nice bench under some trees. No, this is not in Florida. This is in Southern California, in Riverside County. I see some people doing manual labor over there, which if I know anything about the Sea Org, manual labor could very well mean that they are making amends because they are in trouble. There's a lot of cameras right there. We've also got a little gate right here.
Yeah, we can have like a coffee. So they'll say them HGTV wants to interview all the time.
It looks like the woman in the blue is on her phone now, most certainly alerting security. Can't get a good shot of her, but that's okay.
Just tell her I'm a big fan.
Well, yeah, no, I don't think they're big on people joining here. In fact, I don't even think that Scientology. Hey, I think I remember that guy. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I might know who that was. If that was who I think it is, that guy who just honked at us, I think he might have showed up to some of the La Poubelle protests.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Jacob, do you know that, or anybody in the chat, anybody know what this White House is?
If I can figure it out, if we pass the golf course on the map, then would we be now? Gosh, it's hard for me to. What does it say? Is that the RTC building? It feels like. I don't know if we're to the RTC building yet. This could still be. Oh gosh, what does that say? Gosh, I tried to print out a map of the place before we got here, but some of the writing is so blurry. Because it's so big and it's hard to fit it all on one page. But oh well. Again, no trespassing, private property. I will point out again that it frustrates me that a religious organization which has tax-exempt status on the basis that it is supposed to be providing a public good, that such a place can have private property. There is an intercept right here, it looks like. Maybe on our way back if we want to try to buzz in, ask for Guillaume Lesevre, Mark Yeager.
Funny comment, Jay Wood.
Looks like we've got some more spiky plants here.
I didn't want to be
Competing with Mindy.
This is live now too.
Oh, gotcha. Barbara says this is where Laura dug trenches as a child. You know, I've also got to find out where exactly the Int Ranch was, because I know that the ranch that the Sea Org kids grew up at is also somewhere near here, but I'm not exactly sure where, and I'm also not sure if Scientology even still uses that property. I will have to find out some more though.
Allowed me to ignore my family forever because they're only holding me back. Allowed me to leave my children.
Wow.
Actually, so I think that they're. I'm kidding.
Okay, so now we're at, I think, staff birthing. I'm pretty sure that this is staff birthing. I'm pretty sure this is staff berthing. I'm not 100% sure if I'm following the map exactly as it laid out, but but if I understand correctly, this is staff berthing. And also, it's my understanding that this side...
Staff birthing or aborting?
It's my understanding that this side of the property is the north side, and that's where the executive strata is. So like Commodore's Messengers Org and Religious Technology Center would all be on this side, whereas this side is Golden Era Productions, which is where the films are produced. Yeah, indeed. Yes. Okay, so what is that house right there? That's a big one. Is that building 35? Or is that the film lab? I feel like I'm inclined. Oh, it says 41 on there? Do I see anything about a 41? Or... Okay. Because I'm looking a little bit at this. It looks like we passed the tennis court. I see the tennis court in the bottom right of the screen right now. And then there's the G units, and then there's staff berthing. So I'm thinking that these buildings right here, it's got to be either... we passed the tennis court a bit ago, so I'm thinking we already passed the G units, and then this is staff berthing. I'm inclined to believe that, yeah, these are staff berthing right here. And hey, if there's anybody watching who happens to know if you may have lived here, I would love to hear your takes as well. Heather Mack says, good to see you both. Be sure they don't grab you. The prison huts are there, right? There are certainly people being held prisoner at this space. I'm not too worried about them grabbing us because we're not Scientologists. If we had signed contracts pledging our lives to the Sea Org, then they would be less afraid of us. Well, because if they try to grab us, we can sue them all day, all night, because we have not signed any arbitration contracts, so that's not a hurdle that we'd have to overcome. Yeah, this has got to be staff berthing right here. Wipe your lens, please. Is my lens a little bit smudged? All right. I hope it's better. I know that also where the sun is placed might be creating a bit of glare, although it actually may be starting to set, which may make the picture a little bit better, but which also may mean that if we want to get a good picture, we might have limited time. But now, here we have a more unobstructed view.
Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, so this is likely where lots of staff members who have been posted here for a decade or more are stationed. I see some motorcycles right here.
So I'm curious. They look nice, but do all the staff members live the same way as Sea Org, or is it a lot nicer? I guess it's nicer, right? So, like, are they in little apartments in this building? Or are they, like, stacked in dormitories?
I would say that it's probably dormitories with lots of people stacked in. And from what I understand, if you're married, you can live with... Just saw somebody drive by on a motorcycle. If you're married, you can live with your spouse. If you're not married, then you'll just be piled in with a bunch of other Sea Org members, like 6 of the same gender.
Oh, so that beautiful house, beautiful facade, but tight corners. Tight, cramped.
Oh, I see a door just opened, although I didn't see a person.
He's not really walking.
Okay.
Actually, 2 of them.
Uh-huh. You gonna get walking soon?
I wonder if they'll give me like an outfit if I just say, hey, I just want to buy it. That's why I just want to buy the outfit. I want to buy the cool goldy black tie. It's so stylish, and I want to buy the cool vest with the gold piping on it. That's why I said.
And from what I understand, Sea Org members would be responsible for replacing their own uniforms if they happen to get damaged or even just old.
Yes, I heard about that. Where do they buy it?
From the Scientology canteen at the. In fact, do I know where the canteen is at on this map? I'll have to study this some more. Thing is, I've learned a lot and I've read a lot about the history of the Church of Scientology and of the executive strata and the developments that took place at the high levels over the years. But it's hard for me to actually know my way around a place until I've been there. Same thing with Big Blue. I didn't really get to know the relationship there between Church of Scientology International, or LA Org, and then ASHO, American Saint Hill Organization, AOLA, the PAC base, until I was actually physically there in person. Oh, how nice. They let people know. They let people know their speed limit while they get pictures of themselves taken driving by. Okay, so maybe, I think there was a bluish building that we just walked by right there. That would probably be either the RTC building or we're coming up on the villas. So it looks like there's villas on the north side, and then below that on the south side, just past the berthing, is the film lab. So that's probably what this is the villas. It's maybe where more...
Hey, thank you for the 10 members.
Maybe that's where the more upper executive echelons are posted at. Whereas I'm guessing that the staff that's posted on this side is more likely to be the lower level staff who's just on the film crew. Get a good view here. I appreciate folks' concerns in the chat. I know that it will be getting late and there is not much of a sidewalk. We will do our darndest to stay safe. I appreciate everybody's concern. Yes, this is not the easiest ground to walk in, and I'm sure that that's not an accident either, because now when people, if they do make it over the fence, you gotta trudge. And you see how deep my feet go into the grass when we're walking through this grass? Oh my gosh, feet go so deep into this grass. All right, so if we just passed berthing and then the film lab, this could be building 36 right here, I'm thinking. Do I know exactly what's here? It looks like administration and manufacturing. So if I'm understanding the map correctly, if I'm interpreting it correctly, I think that this might be administration 30, or excuse me, what's it called? Building 36, which is where oh my gosh, I cannot speak today. Administration and manufacturing happens here. So because this is the film side, I know I've heard Mark Headley tell stories about having to work on, is it CDs or cassette tapes back in the day? Maybe that could have been happening here.
Did they write the greatest movie of all time, Battlefield Earth, here?
That I don't know. I know that Hubbard never actually lived on the property. My understanding is that he used the golf course to film a movie. And then bought the whole property with the intent that this could be where he lived, but then because he spent the rest of his life in hiding, he did not ever actually live on the property, even though that was what it was initially intended for. It was near San Luis Obispo.
North.
Yeah, north of here anyway. And yes, Kim Hellman says, I think Bob Ferris is there also. This is my understanding.
They have another, is that the famous, the lake? Is that where the lake where Mike Rinter got thrown in and all those people?
Oh, that could be. I mean, there have been so many lakes that we passed with the golf course, so yeah, I'm not even sure.
One on property, that's probably the one where David Miscavige would go into.
Oh, could be, especially if I was right about where building 36 is, then yeah, that could be this right here. And folks, I'll make it clear that I'm not super confident that I'm right when I point out each of those locations. I'm doing my best based on the map that I've seen, but if I'm interpreting things correctly, I'm doing my best.
It makes me sad because you think if they were allowed a 6-hour day and they could smoke weed and walk around and look at the sunset on the lake, that's kind of nice, but they can't do it. It's kind of what's the purpose of this beautiful campus? They have no time to go for
and yep. Here's the main gate and security booth that we're coming up on. So that would be here and here, right here. My chat is complimenting your haircut.
Thank you. I get the same type of haircut ever since I was 5. I get a haircut every 3 or 4 months.
Same with me, pretty much. Pretty much been gelling it up in the front for a good amount of time. Well, if it does cause hair loss, I think I'm experiencing that already anyway. I already take... I do take Rogaine. I do use Bosley shampoo and conditioner. I have not gone so far as getting a propitious prescription. I almost said subscription.
Here's my wife's name.
Oh, goodness.
Scientologist. Oh, yeah.
She was a Scientologist.
Cool.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
Little
we've got
buggies.
some.
Little golf carts.
Yeah,
I
those are
like
some
how
interesting looking
Mexican
golf carts.
laundry. Yeah, they're really fucking-
They remind me of some of the Cars and Cars, the movie. Thank you so much, Crackhead Jenny. Crackhead Jenny says, good job out there. Thank you for bringing us with you guys to see Gold Base. Please tell Dodge I said hi, LOL, where's Shelly? So Crackhead Jenny says hello and a super chat to me. So thank you, Crackhead Jenny. All right, now here we are up at the main security booth with the big Golden Era Productions. I want to move to a place where I've got a more unobstructed view of the letters there. Golden Era Productions. Wow. No mention of Scientology on their public-facing signage. Oh no, that's not true. I do see the S's up there. You see that? You see the Scientology S's?
Oh, yeah, the top.
There they are. The two triangles.
This is my Lord.
All right, and so that would be, so it would be right here, like right exactly where we're standing right now, that Ron Miscavige escaped. When driving out of this side, and like he made the staff believe.
So you went into town?
That is my belief. My belief is that he came out this way with the intention, or they thought he was going to just drive right across right here, but then he turned right and just floored it.
That's awesome. Rest in peace.
I'm not 100% sure about which way Mark Headley went on his motorcycle, but it seems like that would make the most sense. I believe there's a town and civilization a little bit closer this way than you would find if you went this way, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, yeah, that's where that town's at, right?
All right, so what building would this be right here then? This would be, if we're just past the main gate and security, this be Upper Lodge. This is Upper Lodge and Lower Lodge. Yeah, it looks like that could be more like places where people are sleeping. These could be rooms that people are staying in.
What's the motel room to stay in?
So there's got to be spikes underneath the plants right here, right? Like if they were to try to jump over these plants, there's got to be spikes they'd be landing on. Oh.
Feel around?
No, thank you. Okay, there I see a much bigger S.
An actual
So-
church. Here's their actual fucking church.
Or is this? What is this?
This is the church.
This building is this? This shows up as 13 on the map. So is this the qualifications division of Gold? Provides staff training and staff counseling in the nearby Del Sol building. Okay, so that makes sense. If this is the qualifications, is that what I said? Qualifications division. And so if this provides staff auditing, that makes sense.
Are you describing this?
Yeah, so if I'm understanding it correctly, it's the qualifications division, which is where staff receives auditing and counseling. And in that case, it does make sense that they would have the Scientology. Oh, did you see that? The lights just came off. The lights were on right there, and then they went off.
I did not see that as.
I think I see somebody's head in that window right there working. We see somebody working in that window, it appears. Okay, we see some flags right here. What flags do we see? I see USA. I think that's the California. And then I can't tell what that white flag on the far left is. Interesting. Okay, walking past the lodges. Yeah, we have, our daylight is somewhat limited, but...
Which is good timing because we're almost, this is the end of it anyway.
Yeah, this is true. We probably won't make as many stops on the way coming back.
Well, beautiful place, great place to hike.
And I see my map here says that MCI is coming up on the left, which if I'm not mistaken is Massacre Canyon Inn. I think that's what this property was named before it was purchased by L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, that looks like a mess hall in there. Is that what this is? Massacre Canyon Inn. Yeah, is where the staff eats. Yep. So this is Massacre Canyon Inn. This is the mess hall. Karen Hall says, "Did you walk around the whole area?" We still got a little bit more ground to cover up here, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Somebody says we should do a duet before the stream ends. No, but if you're game,
I'd be game. You have any songs in mind? Do you know We Stand Tall?
No, I don't know that. What's that one?
It's a Scientology song. That's
yeah.
You've seen the music video with Miscavige and all the disappeared executives by his side? I hate to say it, but it is a catchy song. Hey laddie la, hey laddie, we stand tall. Ba-doom doom ba-doom. I know, we found the way, laddie la. Hey laddie, we stand tall. I wonder if they remember that song. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, me and Laura actually duetted on that song in front of the Scientology Test Center on Hollywood Boulevard back in January of last year.
I keep wanting to cross Diana Hubbard track.
Oh, Kara suggests something from Greece. Go Grease lightning, you're burning up the quarter mile. Grease lightning, go Grease lightning, go Grease lightning, you're coasting through the hip lap trial. You are supreme, the chicks will cream. For Grease lightning, go 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 go. Ooh. And that song was originally sung by a Scientologist. And forgive me if you can tell that I'm not warmed up. Although I have been talking all day, so I can't say I'm totally cold.
But for the first time ever, I rarely like this. I'm just like hanging back and letting you expound a little.
Well, I appreciate that. You hold my wisdom in such high regard. Okay, so we've got. Okay, so this is the castle. What exactly this is, I'm not exactly sure, but it looks like this is number 1 on the map over here. It says the castle is a large state-of-the-art sound studio for filming. It also has a large area for set and prop construction and storage, costumes, and makeup. So that's what this castle is, apparently, according to this map. Interesting. I wonder if that's the building that Valerie Haney was shooting in when she was filming with that non-Scientologist group of actors. I wonder if that was here.
You know what's funny? If you go on Reddit and Google, like, have you ever worked with Golden Air Productions? And comments be like, oh, I worked with this really nice woman named Valerie.
Really?
And and it's like, and then I found out she like escaped in the trunk of a car.
That would be be so wild.
Remember all the people, like the actors commenting, like they all remember her apparently, which is interesting.
Well, no, I mean that would be a crazy thing to experience. I mean, especially for the actor who opened up his trunk and then Valerie jumped out. Like that would be so wild to be working on set all day and then drive home and the producer gets out of your car.
She jumps out of the trunk, and he's like, wait, does that mean I'm getting a call back?
All right, let me get up on the curb here. You've lost that love and feeling, like Tom Cruise sang in Top Gun. I don't know if I know that one. You know that one?
Love and feeling.
Ooh.
Oh, that love and feeling. You've lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. And I can't hold on. Oh, baby, I get down on my knees for you. If you just love me like you used to do. Woo! I love your mind every day. So don't let it slip away. Righteous Brothers. Classic.
Very nicely done. I don't know that one, so I will have to listen to it. Is that an oldie?
Yeah, very, from the 65.
Okay.
You know the song Unchained Melody?
Unchained Melody.
Time goes by so slowly, and time can mean so much. Do you ever see Ghost with Patrick Swayze?
I actually haven't seen that one. That's been on my list for a minute. I've been meaning to see it for a while.
That was in a popular scene in that movie with Patrick Swayze, and he's a ghost, and he like infects Demi Moore, and she's like she's doing pottery and like shaping her bowl into something phallic, and then his ghost hands cover hers, and then they play that song.
Interesting. I've been meaning to see that movie for a while, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
I haven't seen it since 20 years, but it's fun.
I'm thinking that this is Well, I mean, we can walk a little bit further and see if there happens to be anything interesting, but I'm thinking this is pretty much the peak of what we're gonna see that's interesting. When we're walking back, do you want to walk back on the other side of the road? All right. Yeah, I'm up for that. We can give these cars some time to come by. That way we'll be able to see what's coming.
Just take a quick, I'm going to stand on this here. Yeah, and then it's interesting that this is blocked off separately. So this is the fence that ends.
Oh yeah, so even if somebody does get over the hill right here, then you have to get through all these plants.
Yeah.
It would be a maze to even find a way around here. Thomas says, Jacob about to go full cruise and sneak in. Not quite.
Jacob wasn't here, I would do it.
My voice of reason?
Yeah.
All right, we want to let that car go by and then...
We don't want to be dealing with Moxon. I'll tell you that much. Oh, thank you, Crackhead Jenny.
Oh, Crackhead Jenny donated to me as well. Cece asks, are there people trapped inside there? Yes, indeed. Many a Sea Org member has been banished to the gold base, never to leave again.
We banished to a lot worse, but they don't get to enjoy it. It's such a shame, man. I would like open a Hyatt here and make so much money.
No.
Colleges are stupid. They really want to make money, open like a fancy hotel.
Okay, I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad that we're... Oh, is that...
Yeah,
oh, interesting.
The lights, but no share it for anything. It was it was pure white with like 2 lights on the top.
Interesting.
Like police lights. I'm like, oh, that's pretty.
I'm actually kind of glad that we came at this time that we did, so that we can see the lights turning on as the sun goes down. That's interesting. CC says, "Can we walk to the front door?" We'll think about it when we walk to the front gate. I didn't press the button or anything. Thing is, I already know they're not going to let us in. I will. You know what? I'll think about it until we get up to the security main booth.
We just say we're again HGTV, best landscaping jobs in America.
And just ask if there are any Scientology executives that would like to be interviewed about their experience.
Yeah, extreme makeover. You're the first one to ever use my dog emoji. Thank you for being a member, Jim. You're the first ever.
Marina says, hi, Jacob and Dodge. Hi, Marina. Thank you for being here.
Good to have you.
Yeah, it's not easy being me, says this is where Bob Ferris is. The road you're on is as close as Liz could get when she was looking for him. So yeah, and that is the thing, is she actually had a family member in the church and she wasn't able to get in. Neither Dodge nor I actually knows anybody here, which is why I feel like if I did, then I maybe would be more keen to actually try and see what they say. But I just know they're going to tell us to go away.
Yeah, I'm a friend of Ken Moxon.
I'd rather not be like rushed away. I'd rather be just allowed to take my time a little bit, you know? Kitty Cat says, isn't this dangerous? Well, in that we are walking on a place with no sidewalk as the sun is starting to go down. It's something that we took a risk assessment for, but... But hey, we're grown men and we decided that we feel comfortable doing it together. I don't know that I would have done this by myself. Confident Chris did this alone. So props to him for having those guts. But personally, I'm glad that I had Dodge with me. That's true. We didn't really look in here the last time we came by. So this would be, okay, so it looks like this is probably near, could this be number 11, the executive strata right here? Or are we still a little bit further back here? If we just pass the castle, we probably pass the swamp up here. Yeah, I'm thinking this could be the executive strata right here. So this could be where some of the higher executives are posted. We know that the higher executives are on this side of the property because this side is the south side where the Golden Era Productions and like filming happens, and then this side is the north side where the executives are posted.
Nice light.
And as I understand it, there's even that's even kind of a, how do I say it, like a power imbalance that exists at the property where.
Yeah, I was curious, Jacob, what percentage of are all the executives making good money? Are they the only ones who do? Because like Mitch Brisker made a lot. Is that
Mitch Brisker? Yes, because he was not a Sea Org member, and Mitch Brisker was in a super unique position where he was a public Scientologist. Yeah, he was a public Scientologist who was paying for courses, but he was also being brought to the international base to shoot there.
He wasn't technically staff or anything.
Yeah, and that's very rare. Like, very few non-Sea Org members are ever allowed on the Gold Base, and for the most part, the only others who would be big money paying Scientologists like Tom Cruise or Paul Haggis when he was still in.
Sure.
So yeah, Mitch Brisker was in a very unique situation. And to your question about payment, yeah, most Sea Org members are making like $47 a week maximum, and that's if they're getting paid.
Even if I know that, but like even if you're executives, so the executives here are part of the Sea Org still.
That they are part of the Sea Org, and
are making that same wage, obviously.
Well, and my understanding was prior to the year 2000, before Miscavige had created the hole and started before he had accelerated his reign of terror to the degree that he ultimately did, there were executives who were able to make more big money bonuses and were able to buy cars that most Sea Org members wouldn't be able to afford or wouldn't be able to get their hands on.
Right.
But once the hole was created, essentially anybody who had ever held any executive role had pretty much been demoted down to nothing and forced to confess all of their crimes and condemned to a life in the hole.
So originally, do you know when this was built?
When this is the
this whole base. Was
well, yes, because I know that it was his choice to buy the property after he filmed something on the golf course. And I want to say that was either the late 70s or the early 80s, because it was pretty much by 1982, I think, that he was on the run. He was in hiding. Most Scientologists had no idea of his whereabouts. And Pat Broker would still come to and from, or Miscavige would had essentially control of the base, and he would set up opportunities to meet with Pat Broker, and that was how they would exchange information to and from Hubbard. And it was during that time that Miscavige basically just started getting rid of anybody who wasn't fully on board with Miscavige taking over.
Sorry, Ron told me I was Jesus Christ.
Well,
that's what he said.
Well, actually the other way around, because he would convince Hubbard that these people were plotting crimes against Scientology. Like, the name that comes to mind is David Mayo. And David Mayo...
the reluctant takeover guy, apparently.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he... If I'm not mistaken, David Mayo had been...
Czechoslovakia it's still there, right?
That actually I'm not sure about. That would be interesting to follow up on. But my understanding is that David Mayo was a top auditor, and I think Hubbard even credited him with saving his life at one point. But then, after Miscavige started the takeover here in the early 80s, while Hubbard was still in hiding, Miscavige, because David Mayo wasn't on board with Miscavige's takeover, Miscavige convinced or passed a message to Pat Broker, which was passed to Hubbard, which said that David Mayo has crimes, and David Mayo is plotting crimes against Scientology. And so Hubbard thanked Miscavige, and that was the end of David Mayo's time in Scientology.
People felt that apparently Mayo just wanted to chill and work on the ranch and like the outdoor. Apparently he gave up without a fight. Is that I heard the general feeling on it. He didn't want the responsibility.
Well, are you thinking of Pat Broker, or are you thinking of David Mayo?
I think it was Mayo specifically. I might be
okay.
It might have been Broker. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm getting them.
Well, there was
Broker. That was the one that went to Czechoslovakia.
Well, actually, I don't even know if Pat Broker's whereabouts are known. As far as I know, I haven't ever heard that Pat Broker died. I believe Pat Broker may still be alive.
That's
but
what I think he's the one I'm thinking of.
Is he the one that was curtailed for 25 years? And because so what I know about Pat Broker is that Pat Broker and Annie Broker, and Annie more so, Annie Broker was one of the people who was in L. Ron Hubbard's life pretty much up until the day he died. One of the few people who he still saw on a daily basis. Pat Broker was her husband, and he was the go-between guy between Miscavige and Hubbard, and between Hubbard and the Scientology world while Hubbard was still alive. When Hubbard died, there was an L. Ron Hubbard, was it a policy letter or a writing by L. Ron Hubbard was released, which promoted both Pat and Annie Broker to the role of loyal officer, which made them the senior-most Sea Org members. This was within a few days of Hubbard's death that came out, And then Miscavige ordered all copies of that document to be destroyed, claimed it was a fabrication. And I think it's actually still kind of a controversial topic within the ex-Scientology and anti-Scientology community. Like, did Hubbard write that and intend to promote Pat and Annie Broker and have them take over? Or did Pat Broker make that up? And in any case, in the end, David Miscavige did ultimately convince enough of the staff that he was the guy. And I think it was Pat Broker that he basically convinced to leave and like just live a quiet life, and then continue to pay millions of dollars to have him surveilled over the next few decades.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
That is what you're thinking of? Okay. Annie Broker actually remained in the Sea Org until she died. She did try to blow. Yeah. Annie Broker did try to blow, but Marty Rathbun intercepted her and brought her back. Everybody's favorite, yeah. And for those who don't know, Marty Rathbun was one of the senior-most Sea Org executives working directly with David Miscavige.
Never litter except for on Scientology grounds.
But Marty Rathbun left the church in 2005, and he was one of their leading critics for a little while. And his wife, Monique Rathbun, who actually was never a Scientologist, filed a lawsuit against the church after Marty and Monique started to receive a bunch of fair game harassment by the church. And because Monique was never in the church, she didn't face the same hurdles that ex-Scientologists would face in litigation, because she never signed any contracts that she wouldn't sue or anything like that. So it appeared that she was winning the lawsuit, but then they decided to fire their attorneys and drop the whole thing. So it seems fairly evident that Marty Rathbun cut a deal to have the fair game go away, have his house paid off for whatever the specific terms of the agreement were.
He adopted a kid, so that was the big.
Well, yeah, and I guess something that was learned within the last few years, was it Mitch that made it public about Scientology having evidence of Marty abusing his child? Or
No,
are you familiar with that story?
People trying to spread that story, yeah. That's one of the reasons he came back. I don't know.
That's a story that I haven't heard until the past couple of years. It was always just kind of assumed that he took a deal so that the fair game would go away. In the more recent years, I've heard that there's a little bit more to it. And I want to say it was Mitch that said something about that, but maybe I don't want to speak too confidently if I'm not 100% sure.
Happy birthday, Peaceful Drama.
Happy birthday, Peaceful Drama.
Somebody asked what's the Heber Jench
Heber Jench was,
but not really.
well, his title was president of Church of Scientology International.
Really meaning as president.
Oh, is that a Scientology van probably taking the Sea Org members back?
You.
That could be what that is. I wonder where they might be coming from. Oh, you know what? There's an event tonight for L. Ron Hubbard's birthday, I think. I wonder if there's people being bussed from here to that could very well be what that was. Dang. Yeah, yeah, wow. I think that might be happening at Big Blue, but I'm not 100% sure. I saw somebody.
Yeah, somebody said Venus. Oh, wow, fun.
Huh.
That's a long trip.
It is. I've already done quite a bit of driving today.
Yeah, it's already long enough for where I am.
We're also getting our steps in here
Yeah.
because we, of course, couldn't park too close.
We parked 2.5 miles away. So I was gonna have thank you. Come over. Where? Who's asking you to come over? Huh? MD Media's there. Oh, you
Oh, really? MD Media's there? Okay, well, maybe I'll get back in my car and I don't know if I think I'm still a couple hours away from there, so I don't know how long Matt's gonna be there. Oh, MD Media. Hope he's getting the good scoop of what's going down at Big Blue. Yeah, in fact, they'll probably be bussed here again at the end of the night, although I'm not looking to stay here all night. Dreamscape also points out Pat Broker was the one that received the information about OT9. When I asked about it, he said he forgot what Hubbard had said. So my understanding with that is that at the L. Ron Hubbard death announcement event, which happened a few weeks or maybe even just a few days after L. Ron Hubbard died in January of 1986. At this event, David Miscavige spoke and introduced himself and made the comments about L. Ron Hubbard voluntarily discarding his body because it no longer would serve him in this lifetime. And then Pat Broker also gave a speech where he talked about the fact that OT 9 and 10 were done and would be coming out soon.
Yes.
And of course still waiting. Yeah, that was that 39 years ago now? Yeah. 1986 to 2025. 39 years have gone by and OT 9 and 10 are still not out.
Is there any like fake rumors as to what it doesn't exist? But is there any fake rumors as to what it is if it did exist? Like what's in there?
Oh shoot! Just walk past some glass. I'll shake my shoes out a little bit. Yeah, I'm good. Thankfully. Yo, yeah. I'll be careful. From what I understand, I remember Tom DeVocht did an interview where he was talking about the fact that when he knew Miscavige pretty well, when he was still in the good graces at Gold, that Tom DeVocht and Miscavige were talking, and Miscavige was like, so what I've been able to find were these worksheets. Oh, because...
Right, you're right, he found worksheets.
Yeah, but nothing really...
Would it be funny if he was like, guys, I found OT9, it's like a marine biology coloring book.
Oh, goodness.
I hope that's what it is.
Because as I do understand it, Pat Broker's place where he was living, which may or may not have been the same place that Hubbard was at the end of his life, I'm not exactly sure, but Miscavige had that rated to try to find OT 9 and 10, and they didn't find it.
He thought it existed.
Yeah, he did believe that it existed. That's one thing that kind of makes me go back and forth. In the podcast I was listening to today that Claire Headley and Tony Ortega just did in the last week, they talked a little bit about the debate of whether or not did Miscavige really believe in Scientology, and then also did L. Ron Hubbard really believe in Scientology? And that was kind of something that that's kind of something that I think about a lot when I'm thinking about that question. And it's like, no, I think that Miscavige did really believe that OT 9 and 10 existed and that one could go full OT. I also feel like Miscavige knows that L. Ron Hubbard told some lies, and he knows that he's telling some lies, but do they still believe in some of the tenets of you are responsible for your condition, you are a Thetan, you are an immortal spiritual being?
He probably believes all that stuff.
I want to say that they do actually believe those things.
What if OT9 is like, he finds it and it's like the real like leader is David Miscavige's Beagles.
David Miscavige's Beagles?
They roll OT9 and 10. They're like, sorry, it's no longer David Miscavige. They don't feed us enough. We're the new leaders in Scientology.
That DIY girl says, be careful walking in the dark. Yes, the sun is nice and down now. We will be back to the sidewalk that's on a more bustling road very shortly, and once we are, and we will,
it is so
we'll be in good
like
hands. We'll be safe.
Being a New Yorker, we walk everywhere. So if we go out of New York, like I think nothing of walking along a dark highway when cars are going 60 miles an hour. It's something I've done reflexively for my entire life. But most people don't do that. And that's like, this is what I used to do before I had a driver. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 29, and I went to 35 states all via train and bus. And this is what I would do. You'd walk from the Greyhound station to your motel, and you'd walk 2 miles, and you'd have cars going by you at 6. So to me, this is very normal. But this is light. This is only like a 30-minute walk.
Yeah, this is not too bad. I had it in my head that it was like a 4 or 5 mile walk back to the nearest town. But no, it's not quite that bad. It's closer to 2.5 miles.
Here's another question. I don't think Jacob or I know the answer to it, and there probably isn't an answer. But there's a community college. There's 3 things that I'm of interest in. There's a temple, a community college, and what else was I thinking? Oh, and there's like a little Mexican food stand. Do any of those 3 have any relationship with Scientology? I wonder if they've ever interacted with them or protect them or hate them, or like, I wonder, because they're so close, like we'll see all of that. I mean, it's all within a 15-minute walk.
My guess would be that they've safe pointed the temple, and they've got the temple on their side enough that the temple will let the church know if any shady figures come by.
That's interesting.
That's a guess. I don't know.
Is that temple active, or is it an old holdout building? It says in Google Maps it's an actual temple, but I wonder if it's an old holdout building from 30 years ago that isn't used anymore.
This is a good question.
And why there's a temple here is just random. I mean, you wouldn't think there'd be that many Jews here in this part of Southern California, but.
I mean, I don't even know how many people there are that live in this area, especially just being an unincorporated community. It's fairly easy to look up the population in cities, but to say how many people live in unincorporated Riverside County, it's like, who even knows?
But if you go down to so now we're on unincorporated, but the moment we get to the shopping center, we're in Hemet, right?
You know what? That may be true. I would have to double check when we get there. That may be correct.
Yeah, and then Hemet has, surprisingly, everything's so big in Southern California. Hemet has 100,000 people, so not tiny. Although small for big population Southern California, but the rest of America, not a small area in the least bit. 100,000 people is not isolated.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't put their thing in Indio, California, or Coachella, or just way out.
Well, I guess once Hubbard filmed the movie here, he made the decision to buy the property thinking that this could be where he lived. And then even though that didn't happen, it worked well enough for Miscavige to just start running the place here and putting up the Golden Era Productions facade so that now when the authorities ask, they can just claim, oh, well, this is where the Scientology training films are filmed, which is true, but they don't like to also reveal to the public that no, this is also where the international management is run. Although I don't know that it still is, because I don't think that Miscavige comes by here anymore, from what I've heard from who I would consider to be reliable sources.
So that's a big question. What's the point? What's the point of making all this beautiful where nobody enjoys it except for two people? Maybe, I guess, originally when I wonder did L. Ron Hubbard, when he made this, did he envision some sort of for this to be used as some sort of enjoyment by I mean, the Sea Org members were worked to death during Hubbard as well, so I guess that's doubtful. But it's amazing because you have these long walking trails and beautiful views of the mountains and the sunset and two man-made lakes. And the buildings look historic and are quite beautiful looking. But what's the point of any of it? If you're at the end of the day, you're a Sea Org member that's still in a dorm room with 7 other people and you don't have time to take a 30-minute walk.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's very bizarre to me.
I was definitely thinking that when we were coming by on the walk down originally.
Building.
It just looked like such a great place for a retreat, for hikes.
Right. It looked perfect for a retreat. Yeah, or a nice hotel resort.
But I think that there are
to impress Tom Cruise, somebody says.
There's that, and then there are videos on Scientology websites that show footage of the gold base, and it's presented to the Scientology world, even though the location is secret. They present the in-base to the world as this is the pinnacle of society where everybody's just applying Scientology to its fullest extent all of the time, and so it's the pinnacle of spirituality here, and it has to be confidential in the same way that the OT materials have to be confidential. So I think that's kind of the rationale there. And there used to be more staff members here. I know that when Miscavige has escalated his reign of terror, he's purged more and more staff, he's put more and more in the hole, and so I think at this point anybody who's at the in-base, first off, has had to go through so much sec checking before arriving here, security checking, interrogation, to make sure that they are fully pro-Scientology. They have no interest in leaving or questioning L. Ron Hubbard or questioning David Miscavige's authority or anything like that. And then it's inevitable that his paranoia grows, and now everybody who's been here has witnessed his fits of terror, his outbursts, to say the least. Right, but it was originally a different vision. And I see Stephen D says, didn't Laura FM visit the in-base or the kids ranch with the TV crew? You know what?
Yeah.
Did Laura come here with that documentary Over the Rainbow that
the Karen's gift.
Okay, I never actually watched that entire documentary. I
don't know why I got so much criticism, I can't recall, but
I remember criticism happening, and I remember seeing clips of Laura, because that was the one where there were clips of Laura. Oop, one of the headlights out.
Yeah.
That was one where there were clips of Laura talking to her dad on the phone.
Right.
And I saw those clips. I don't know if I saw clips where she came here to the ranch, but you know what? That's you did. If you did see that, yeah, I would believe it. That very well may be true. So I will have to go back and check that one out again. Yeah, because you know what? I remember there being some controversy with the documentary when it came out. And in fact, that might even be the first time I saw Laura was being interviewed by Aaron talking about her frustration with it.
Yeah,
I want to say that might have been my first introduction to her. But I am curious to go back and see it and see what it's all about. And if I'm not mistaken, was that made by Doug Kramer? You know?
I believe so, yes.
May he rest in peace.
God, yeah. It was. Kenny's crap pants. Oops, crap my pants. Thank you for the super chat. With it, the super chat.
And Jeff Reborn now says, put more and more in the hole. LOL. Who would subject themselves to that? Well, you know, that's the thing, is the only people who get to even be at the int base are so committed to serving their eternity, working to achieve the aims of Scientology. Yeah, they've signed billion-year contracts to the point that if the ecclesiastical leader of the religion that they have committed their lives to has told them that they need this, they might very well believe that they deserve the punishments that they receive.
Might be unfair on Earth, but it might be fair in TGM.
And the thing is, in order to leave, a lot of these people have to be willing to just start over with absolutely nothing, because a lot of the people who are Sea Org members here either have no family that they know, or the only family members that they do have are in Scientology. So they know that they can't leave and blow because they'll be declared suppressive persons, and then their family will not be allowed to talk to them. And if they have no money, no savings account, no driver's license, it's just they're between a rock and a hard place, to say the least. And I know that in the case of somebody like Mike Rinder was in the hole for 2 years before he ultimately escaped. And when he left, it was when he was fished out of the hole and flown to England to intercept John Sweeney, when John Sweeney was at a movie premiere for a movie that John Travolta was in. And Mike Rinder, not anticipating that this was going to happen, was accosted by John Sweeney. And John Sweeney said, I have several witnesses who have said that they saw you being beaten by David Miscavige. And Mike Rinder said, those claims are absolute utter rubbish. And that interview, which Mike Rinder was tasked with making sure that that interview never aired, well, it did. And Mike Rinder was, of course, punished for that. And Miscavige told him that he would never be allowed back to the United States. He would never see his family again. And at that point, that was really one of the only reasons that Mike Rinder had stayed, is because he was married to a Sea Org member. He had 2 children in the Sea Org. And leaving would not only mean starting over from scratch, but also destroying any chance of being able to see them again. Well, once the chance to see his wife and kids was taken away from him while he was still in the Sea Org, that was the straw that broke the camel's back that made him realize, I've got nothing to stay here for. And he left and lived quite an amazing life outside of Scientology. May he rest in peace as well.
This is the temple we were talking about. Somebody said temple's still active in the chat.
Okay.
You want to go by the front? Because we're left going here.
Are we?
Why wouldn't we?
I guess I don't see any signs that say private property like I did with Scientology property. And yeah, that's true. There's a driveway up here too. So this is just a parking lot. Iglesia de Jesucristo. Oh, so this is not a Jewish temple. This is a church. I think it did say temple.
Yeah,
oh, interesting. Oh, okay. So Iglesia de Jesucristo, and then and it says aquí en el templo. Okay, so it's a temple with a Christian church inside. That is not something you see every day. Very interesting. Huh. Marlene Racine says, where are we? We just walked away from Scientology's international base, which is down this way. While we were walking along the side of it, Dodge and I, we well, the sun set, so our vision was nowhere near what it was when we first arrived. So now we're back walking down the street, and I'll probably be ready to end the stream before too long. Are there any questions that I missed or anything anybody wanted to ask before? Actually, that's true. We do have a bit of a walk back to our cars, so we might as well just keep streaming.
Relatively populated. So they have the temple here. They have a little food stand. This is a little Mexican joint I was talking about.
Yeah, I wonder if they realize.
Food truck.
I am curious if they realize that they're so close to human trafficking cult's international base. What do you say?
Yeah.
If you want to, you can. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable just taking their picture on on stream, but if you want to, you can. I think I am also gonna get a drink of water. I have not had. Oh yeah, did you want a bottle of water, or because I have a handful? No worries. Go for it. Go for it. And I see Kara says the Jewish temple meets twice a month. Interesting. I might join Dodge in a moment, but I am going to get a drink of water real quick. Jeffrey Bourne now says, is this the compound where they keep Shelly? Shelly did work here during the time that she was still regularly seen with her husband, David Miscavige, but once she was disappeared, the popular theory is that she was brought to Twin Peaks in San Bernardino County. And what have I also heard that called? I've heard it called Twin Peaks, and it's also a Church of Spiritual Technology location. So in the executive strata, as I understand, Commodore's Messengers Organization and Religious Technology Center are both at the top. CST, Church of Spiritual Technology, is a little bit higher than that, and it's also more, what's the word that I'm trying to think of? Secret, confidential. But my understanding is that she was posted at the, she was moved to the Twin Peaks location in San Bernardino, near Big Bear. Oh goodness, I didn't realize how thirsty I was while I was walking. I really do tend to get dehydrated sometimes when I'm streaming. Ooh. But that water is hitting the spot, let me tell you. I'm curious, one of the times when I switched my camera view from back facing to forward facing, I now see a white bar going up the cross, across the top of my stream. Is that seen on your guys' stream? Do you guys see a white bar going across the top? Or is that just on my end? If y'all could let me know, that would be much appreciated. Oh, okay, you got a quesadilla. Very nice, very nice. Nice. Did you ask them anything about Scientology?
Yeah, he said he doesn't interact with them that much, only the guards.
Only the guards?
That's it, and he's polite, and I said, does anybody else come down? And they said no.
Interesting, interesting.
It's almost like they don't exist, which is bizarre.
Huh. Yeah, that is. I wonder if they know any of the allegations about Scientology. That would be interesting. I'll give them a little bit of privacy while I'm still streaming out here. Okay, folks say there's no bar, so interesting. I wonder why that popped up on my screen. Haven't seen that before. Some nice music playing here. Oh, it looks like there might be cars trying to get out. I'll give them some space. I see Dodge speaking some Spanish over there. Is there anybody who's keeping up with a couple of streams at the same time, or has anything interesting happened at the event at Big Blue where MD Media is? Because if there has been anything interesting there, I would be curious to know. I know I was seeing interesting clips being reposted of interactions that MD Media and Laura FM were having outside of Big Blue. I want to say it was within the last week. The days sometimes blend together, but I want to say that was happening recently. Sometimes I feel a little bit awkward when I'm streaming in public around other people who are just enjoying a meal. But Dodge is having a very entertaining conversation with another customer over there. I'm impressed with Dodge's Spanish from what I can hear. So if you hop on over to Dodge's stream, you might get to hear him speaking some impressive Spanish. I wouldn't have anticipated that he could speak so well. But we know Dodge is articulate. Well, I've finally done it. I've finally walked the perimeter of Big Blue. I've figured I would do that someday for a while, at least a drive-by, if not actually walking along the perimeter. But now, after a good amount of time, I've finally made it happen. And I see Crackhead Jenny has sent a super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much, Crackhead Jenny. Excuse me, Crackhead Jenny. That's Crackhead Jenny. Gotcha. Thank you, thank you. Hello, Sue Denham. Okay, Kara says there's lots of people. Bert the neighbor is bullhorn in Scientology. Crazy loud music. Can't say I'm surprised about the crazy loud music. That tends to be a common feature of Scientology events. One of the first streams that I did when I was fairly new to live streaming was the event at North Hollywood, the North Hollywood org, where they were playing Flag is Here, miracles and dreams come true. Spread your wings and learn how to fly. Cross the bridge and soar to the sky. Like a sparkle in juniper eyes, flag is here. I said like a sparkling juniper rise. I think the lyric was explained to me and it's actually something different than that, but I can't remember exactly what. You all set? Very nice. I heard you having an impressive conversation in Spanish there. I didn't realize how much Spanish you had.
Really? You didn't think it was horrifically butchered?
From what I could hear, it sounded not bad.
Thank you. Somebody else in the comments, like I tried it, I failed miserably, but somebody in the comments said, no, he was Spanish speaking, said, no, I understood you.
Very nice. Very impressive.
I'm
Muy
always proud of myself,
impresivo.
I don't speak it fluently, but I guess I speak it like a 5 or 6-year-old, which is more sufficient than most people.
Sí, mi leer y escribir es
Okay. That's
no
not bad.
mala,
So you
pero
read and write.
pero mi hablar y escuchar es muy difícil
Yeah, well, that's
para
not
mí.
bad at all, but talking and listening, understanding is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I can read if I'm reading a book in Spanish, I could make sense of it. Honestly, you know what? I would feel like a Scientologist if I was reading a book in Spanish because I would have to look up all of the words that I didn't understand. I'd have to get word cleared. Word clearing would take forever if I'm reading in Spanish. And this is I did take it in school.
I didn't, so that's
So how did you learn? How did you pick it
a
up?
lot of
Just
time in Mexico.
wow,
And
that's
you force
impressive.
yourself because you travel and you travel places they don't speak any English. So
Wow.
you force yourself to know what you need to know, and then there, you know, they like redheads, so I had a fun dating life. And I go on dates with people who didn't speak a word of English. So it was kind of like baptism by fire, but it was very good practice.
Wait, you're saying that there were a lot of women in Mexico who had a thing for redheads, so
Yes,
you had a good
so-
dating life?
Yeah, we're so exotic. They didn't see them. Like here, redheads are lame. We can't get a date. But there, yeah, I knew they liked me because here they all say like, oh, I look like Ron Weasley or Conan O'Brien or something. And in Mexico, they say I look like Prince Harry. Much
Okay.
rather that. So yeah, I had fun dating. I had a great, still do. I mean, I haven't gone down there.
You ever
for a
get
long
Ed Sheeran?
time. Yeah.
Really?
People, yeah, people once in a while, people thought I was him for some reason. Like coincidentally, I was in Mexico City. You get a concert, and like 2 people asked me if I was Ed Sheeran. Like no, and that's who I don't want to get compared to, but I do, unfortunately. He's not very good looking. But
You don't
he's a
think?
great singer. No, I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
anybody think he's good looking.
No, he's very talented. I
very
do
talented.
tend to be very impressed with his stuff.
Yes, great singer.
Whoa.
I could name one from The Shape of You.
I'm in love with the shape of you. You push and pull like a magnet too. And now my heartbeat feels brand new. Cause I'm in love with your body. Oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah. I'm in love with your body. Y'all have any favorite Ed Sheeran tunes in the chat? And they say she's in the class 18, stuck in her daydream. Been this way since 18, but lately her face seems slowly sinking, wasting, crumbling like pastries. And they seem the worst things in life come free to us, but we're just under the upper hand. I'm going mad for a couple grams. She don't wanna go outside tonight. And in the pipe she flies to the motherland, or sells love to another man. It's too cold outside for angels to cry.
You know, I'm thinking
That's
that
a fun
song
one.
and it really denigrates sex work.
It's
Nice.
yeah, it's a sad story
I
that
never
the
realized
song
it's about
tells.
her being a sex worker, right?
Yeah, and yeah, for to be able to afford drugs, yeah, it's a sad story. You know, there's a handful of songs out there that the melody I just love, but the lyrics are just
Oh, yeah.
Another one is Pumped Up Kicks.
Oh, yeah.
All the other kids with the pumped up kicks better run, outrun my gun. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, faster than my bullet. Yeah, that's every time I hear that, I'm like, gosh, such a good song, but also, what? Well, like, where did they get the idea for this? I don't know. Do you know the song? This is an older one, but do you know Possum Kingdom by Toadies?
No.
It's a weird one about for the longest time I thought it was about a vampire, because it's a man singing to a woman about how I promise you'll stay forever beautiful, you'll be young forever, I will treat you well, my sweet angel, so help me Jesus. And I was like, okay, you'll stay young, you'll stay beautiful. Is this about a vampire? Once I saw the music video, it appears that it is about a murderer.
Oh.
But again, I'm like, gosh, such a good song. Like, and this is the songs we were just singing, Pumped Up Kicks and the A-Team. Those are more recent pop hits. I mean, I guess it's been like a decade.
Yeah,
that was Ed
top
Sheeran.
20,
Yeah, that was I do want to say that was closer to the beginning of Ed Sheeran's career. I was still in middle school when that one came out. That was a song that I had on my iPod Touch before I even had an iPhone. Back when I was still purchasing music on iTunes, before the music industry just turned to streaming.
You see the age difference is only 9 years older than you. I remember.
So 2013, how old would you have been?
22.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much. I was born in 90 to BS.
Gotcha.
But I remember with that I had a Sony Walkman, Sony MP3 player. I would travel and I'd go to community colleges across cities and download music on them onto my, illegally download music and use your computers. I miss those days. Everything was so accessible.
Oh, you know what? I think I missed another super sticker from Crackhead Kenny Cheated Again. Thank you very much.
Somebody's really
Crackhead Kenny Cheated Again.
I read it.
Yeah, I've gotten in this stream I've gotten super chats from Crackhead Jenny and also from Crackhead Kenny Cheated Again. That's an interesting dichotomy to get. I don't know, but to everybody who has been kind enough to donate, thank you very much. I do very much appreciate it.
Thank you guys. My end as well. Yeah, Google's not that old.
Did you want to race for a sec?
Yeah.
All right. Hello.
Easily beat me.
I think that's...
So always
Just-
awkward because you're gonna pass somebody or not.
Would you say?
So it's always awkward because you don't know when you're gonna pass somebody or not.
Yeah.
Because you should like stall or awkwardly walk alongside them.
Yeah, and it's also different when I'm streaming, but it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon if I'm walking around downtown with my roommate or with a friend, and we're walking just a little bit faster, at a faster pace than
You're
the
a
people
quick
who are a
walker.
little bit
You're
in
like
front of
me, by the way. Respect. Most people can't keep. If I'm walking too fast, let me know.
No worries. No, I think I tend to
kinda
be
like me.
comfortable walking faster as
Oh,
well.
Good. Yeah. Most people I leave in the dust. They're like, oh, I don't know who I am.
And crackhead Jenny is laughing, putting lots of laughing emojis. I'm sure she's getting a kick out of what you are creating in here.
Well, I'm glad
Thank you
you're
very
doing
much.
it.
I hope you're having fun.
Language is important.
Goodness gracious. Okay. Oh my gosh. Dodge and I before before we went live, we were just talking off camera about how it almost feels inevitable that if you go live and talk about Scientology, you're gonna get dragged into
Hard to admit it.
you know, the
People demand
whatever you want to call it, infighting, drama, all of the undesirable topics of conversation. But now, so in addition to Crackhead Jenny and what was the other one I said? Crackhead Kenny cheated again.
Yeah.
Now, a new account called Kenny's Crapped Pants has sent a $2 super chat saying, "Hey Jacob, well, hey Kenny's Crapped Pants. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the super chat, y'all. I'm losing it over here." Marina also sent a super chat. Thank you very much, Marina. And she says, "Not Crackhead Kenny." Thank you very much. Not that I am one to regularly ask for money in my streams, but it would be cool at some point to maybe receive some contribution that is not related to one guy or parodies of him. Oh goodness. Oh, and Kara, thank you for all you do as a mod. I hope that your job is not being made extra difficult tonight.
Oh yeah, you saw your mod. Cool.
I do, yes. And
I'm not older than DOA, by the way. So DOA is 9 years older than me. So that's not fair.
that wooden, that there looked like a middle finger for a sec.
Yeah.
At the angle that I was at for a second, it looked like it was a fist with a middle finger sticking up. I gotta be honest, I don't know if I'm even fully in the loop with what some chats or account names may be referencing. I'm aware.
So much esoteric inside baseball.
I'm
That's
aware.
why I respect you. You use your real damn name. I don't get how I'm supposed to understand all your inside baseball references. They're not amusing to me. All of it, like, I'm not gonna name names, but yeah, it's just like I don't understand how half of you are what joke you're trying to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
So if y'all might be making references to things that I don't know about, I hope that I'm not.
Love is love. What does that even mean?
Oh goodness. Yeah, and there's a lot of characters in the SPTV verse or former SPTV verse, depending on how folks choose to identify, that I don't even know if I'm up to date with everybody's stories or everybody's situations. I'm sure that there are some people who I'm completely out of the loop on things that other people in the shop might be very up to date on. Okay, that's definitely not the first time we've seen that truck. Yeah. White truck with an American flag in the back. I think that's my third time seeing a white truck with an American flag, but I guess, hey, it could be possible that there's multiple white trucks with American flags hanging out the back. Oh my goodness. All right. Okay, now Crash Out Kenny has sent a 99-cent super chat. Can I read it? It looks like it says, "Hey Jacob." Gosh, that's weird. The name is actually covering the comment. I've never seen that happen before with a super chat. And thank you, Kara. Minion52 says they are giving super chats so that you say their mocking names out loud. I was starting to catch on that might have been the case. So, gosh. Thank you to those who are sending super chats. It would be nice to see contributions to one not be made at the expense of another. But
Who did they give you?
well, but I guess because all of the accounts that are giving me super chats are named after Crackhead Kenny, gosh.
I don't know. With him, it's just like whether you're Team Aaron or DOA or whatever. It's just not appealing to listen to. I just don't think anybody should be respected for such nasty language and childish and sophomoric, arguably violent and just damaging, disgusting. So.
Wow, Kay Taylor says, "Keep my name in your broke mouth." Here you go, Jacob. Thank you so much, Kay Taylor. I really appreciate that, and congrats on being the first person to contribute to this stream with a non-Crackhead Kenny related name. Oh my goodness. Kara says,
Kate,
Jacob, Kenny would tell you to take the money. You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah, I would tell you the same thing. Kate Taylor, love
Thank
you,
you.
by the way. Apologize. Somebody's being racist to Kate Taylor in my chat. I didn't
Oh,
realize that.
is that what's going on?
Well,
oh my
that happened.
goodness.
I don't know if anybody made a deal out of it, but I'll be more because I was driving, so I didn't see
Oh,
the chat.
I see.
But just to accept my apologies to her.
Hmm.
I'll be more
Yes.
in the chat.
And I don't know if Mandy's in this one, but she does tend to send the rules out every now and again to remind people no sexism, no racism, no homophobia. We don't need none of that in this chat.
I think some cisphobia will be nice.
Some cisphobia,
I hate myself.
some misandry.
Tell Mandy Hale, see you in Seattle at some point. Very
That's
soon.
Ooh, yeah. I'll have to remind Mandy to get in touch with you. You know, it was shortly after I started streaming that you, me, and Mandy did a stream. Do you remember that
Yeah,
one?
it was a lot of fun. I felt bad. I was 15 minutes late for it because the girl I was dating was like keeping me away. And
Oh, is that the reason?
oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
Oh goodness, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I bet I was at a Marianne Williamson event. You know, she's running for president.
Oh wow.
Against
Okay.
Biden.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it's very,
What a throwback! Wow.
yeah, it's cool. Met this really cool girl. I quite liked her, but she's very. And so we met at the event, and then we hung out again, like 2 days later, and then again when I was supposed to be on with you. She's so particular. She wanted me to go to this specific restaurant to get her this specific food, and we had to drive like 20 minutes out of the way, and then she wanted to add something, and that took an extra 15 minutes, and then I was like late for your thing, and I felt bad. But, oh well.
It's all good. It worked out. We got on the air, and if I remember correctly, we did a pretty long stream. I feel like we ended up
like
going
an
for, yeah, maybe even
Really?
longer. Yeah.
Wow, it was fun. Yeah.
It was a fun
Thanks for
time.
inviting me.
So to get to learn a little bit about each other and
Yeah.
plug each other, share each other's channels.
Yeah, it was helpful. That was a while ago now, right? March, I guess, a year ago.
That sounds about right,
Exactly 1
yeah.
year ago.
Because I think Mandy became my mod shortly after that crazy night in front of La Poubelle that the several arrests were made, and then we ended up going to the police station. It was shortly after that that I realized I needed mods. If I remember correctly, I didn't have any mods before that, which made it very easy for trolls to take over my chat, because at that point, if I wasn't paying attention to my chat,
every time.
do you have no mods?
I have no mods.
Yeah, if you stream and drive with no mods, that's a risky game. Yeah.
That's the trouble, isn't it? It really is. The crazy shit, especially if I'm not the parent paying attention, like the crazy shit that people say when I'm not watching. It's just like, oh my god. So if people are outright racist, I'll ban them. You have to do a lot for me to ban you. A lot. I think I banned 1 or 2 people, and that's it. I'm tired. Chat. And then I'm getting tired of all the Danny people who say the same thing, who hate Danny, and they just say Danny has no papers.
Oh,
And,
that's no.
Like, get something original.
That's not a nice thing to say
This is racist.
at all. And in case anybody was curious where I stand, fuck ICE. No people are illegal.
Someone says DOA is 2 shadows. Is that true? I don't know what that means.
2 shadows. What does this mean?
People talk in freaking riddles. Dodger chats are free speech prompts. So this is better for worse.
So here's the community college that we were talking about, Mount San Jacinto College. So we're getting back into town. We're walking past a.
The walk. If you tried to break free, this is the walk that you would have done.
Indeed.
And now you would have finally seen these lights And he would have been like, all right, maybe there's a police station or somebody I could yell for
Mm-hmm.
down here. This would have been your first crossing into like assistance.
Indeed, indeed. And I would think that generally, I guess I don't know for sure about this one, but when I was in community college, there would always be campus police on campus. So if you...
Yeah, this seems small. This seems like a small little college though.
It is also a Saturday night, so there's just very few cars or very few anybody
that's a good
here.
question though. You know, I do wonder about that. If somebody escapes on a Wednesday, could they just run down and try to ask some of the security guards here?
Oh, look, okay, this truck is just going back and forth.
Yeah, big truck.
White truck with the American flag.
That's sus, isn't it? That's suspect.
It could be somebody gathering intel on who's in the area. We don't know. It's not out of the question.
I'm surprised you to have a big political statement like that working for Scientology. Although Scientologists are pro-Trump, so, you know.
I don't know that the church openly is, but I do think that
personally
Scientologists tend to lean conservative.
That's what-
And I mean, Joy Villa, who was
Yeah.
affiliated with Scientology,
MAGA
was
dress.
openly MAGA. That's
Famously.
right.
Well,
And
and,
I-
you know, the one election district in LA that went for Trump was the building where all the Scientologists live.
And of course, Trump now has, what's her name, Pam Bondi, as his.
Their greatest friend.
What remind me? Do you remember what her position is? Is she Attorney General? Attorney
Yeah.
General. Okay.
Head
And so
of the
she
bar.
was formerly, was it District Attorney in California, in Florida?
General Florida.
Attorney General Florida. Got it.
And Scientology hosted two fundraisers.
Wow.
And she went out of her way to honor them at something. So, I think she's their greatest ally. Literally, like, could have chosen anybody that's been more supportive.
Well, and also, Grant Cardone and his wife have been pretty openly supportive. And one of them, I want to say Grant Cardone was on stage at a Trump rally at Madison Square Garden. Do you recall that?
Yeah, of course. The famous one of Tony Hinchcliffe. Yeah, he was there.
Yeah. Oh, that was the one where Tony Hinchcliffe was making the
Yeah.
jokes where he talked about Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he's lucky Hinchcliffe stole all the thunder.
Yeah, that's true. That was the main headline after that event. I didn't hear much about Grant Cardone except from within the anti-Scientology community.
Right.
And I know Tony Ortega was talking about that, and Tony tries not to get political most of the time from what I can see.
He has millions of,
But he's pointing out, like, come on, the incoming, I can't remember, that was before the election or after the election? Do you remember?
What, the rally?
Yeah.
Well, it was 2 weeks before.
2 weeks before, shortly before. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, if the Republican nominee, who is also a former president, is having an OT8 Scientologist on stage with them, regardless of what your political views are, that's news. That's Scientology-related news.
It's very true.
JB808 gives a 1999 super chat saying, going to the airport shortly, just listening in for a few. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you very much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it, JB808. Kara Feeple says, Cardone has been doing live TikToks on Saturday, and he doesn't use a mod. That is interesting. I might have to pop in there and say revoke Scientology's tax exempt status.
I love that. Well, it's weird. I worked after I got fired from the Scientology thing. I landed a job with the Patrick Haven group, Value Change.
Oh my gosh, him, yeah.
Joke. But the weird cognitive dissonance with him is that he had Mike Grinter on.
Yeah, he's weirdly wishy-washy because he's Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
And you know who else is similar? Is Megyn Kelly, because Megyn Kelly has also talked to Mike Grinder and had really interesting conversations, but also had Grant Cardone.
Right. Good point. You think there'd be some consistency? I don't see. If you know about all that, I don't see how you give anybody who is a current Scientologist a fair shake whatsoever.
And especially, like, it'd be one thing if they just had a Scientologist actor on, but to have somebody like Grant Cardone, Grant Cardone is a scammer. He's already, beyond just being a Scientologist, he's been investigated for fraud. Has he been indicted? I feel like I see a lot of...
No, I think it's happening, though.
He's under investigation.
Go to that court case, if there's ever a court case that comes to the court.
Do you know what state it would be in? I'm actually...
Florida.
You may be right about that. That would be interesting to see, but that's why it'd be one thing if they had somebody like Mike Rinder or Leah Remini, because I know there's also like somebody like Chelsea Handler. Chelsea Handler is purportedly good friends with Leah Remini, but she's also friends with Elizabeth Moss, who is a Scientologist, which, it is interesting. And also, I've also heard Leah talk about when, what's her name? Laura Prepon, who was on that 70s show. She claimed within the last few years that she hasn't been actively practicing Scientology for 5 years, but she didn't actually like denounce Scientology.
That's true.
So Leah, I remember this is back when she was doing the podcast Fair Game with Mike Rinder, and they did an episode where Leah said that shortly after that, Leah reached out to Chelsea Handler to get a message to Laura Prepon, and Laura responded to Chelsea but didn't acknowledge anything about Leah. So it doesn't seem to me like Laura is fully out of Scientology's control. She might not be actively taking courses anymore.
There's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of... my theory is they're more active than they let on, and they ask them permission to pretend they're not active.
It might be that...
I don't have grace, or not that you do either. I don't trust any of them that say they're actually... You know, I mean, I think Elvis's granddaughter, Riley Keough, is still a Scientologist.
Well, the thing...
You can pretend that it's just because of her friends. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think it might be, is that she still has friends who are Scientologists, and she doesn't want to be declared. So she's just walking a line of not actually speaking poorly about them. She's saying, oh, I'm not really in. But she's also not saying anything. She's not validating stories of victims of Scientology. She's not making any allegations of abuse.
That's bullshit. I mean, I guess some people love their friends that much.
Mm-hmm.
Friends are not your parents. Friends are not your dog. Friends are not your wife. Friends are not your girlfriends or husbands or boyfriends. Friends are, you know, you move on from college, you lose your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that bizarre that somebody would thinks that they're wrong, but because they want to hang out with like 6 or 7 people, that they're not going to speak out. My theory is she's as committed as ever. And that's a front thing, so she doesn't get harassed by anti-Scientology people or get pressed for that. But I think she's a true believing. I think most of them. I think any of them who are halfway in are actually fully in. I don't buy it, and I don't give them any excuse for it. And I think that's such a cop out and not truthful at all.
Hey, you may be right.
I'm very judgmental of that. So I don't like people who say they can have it halfway. It's your responsibility if you want to right the wrong and bring justice to children who've been abused, people who've had their civil rights violated. It's your responsibility, especially having been in it, to confirm all of that.
Mm-hmm. You know? No, yeah, I get where you're coming from. And it looks like Kara Feeble did share a link in the chat from insurancenewsnet.com. Then it shares some information about Grant Cardone and Gary Brecka swapping charges in dueling lawsuits. Okay, I'll have to read up on that. Interesting. And Kara is also echoing that she thinks Riley is definitely still in. Hey, Mandy the Catsby is in here. Mandy, Dodge is going to be coming to... Is this car going to let us cross here? Let's do it. Dodge is going to be coming to Seattle very shortly. So we mentioned you a little bit earlier in the stream.
Yeah. So
I might have to connect once he's up there. That would be cool.
100%. We made it.
Indeed, we made it. Our cars appear intact, which is good to see. All right, I'm glad that you suggested that we keep streaming on the walk back. That was nice to catch up with you all. Yeah. You're gonna enjoy your quesadilla now? Oh, it's for a name. Oh, okay, right on.
All right, guys, love you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for super chat.
Indeed. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I see Mandy says, are you heading home? Text me when you get home. Yeah, you know, I'm probably going to tune in to MD Media's stream and just see what the vibe is, or see what the details of the event are. Because if it's an event that's going to go until like 10, I don't know, maybe I'll go by. Yeah, I'll find out what the scoop is. It might be, if MD Media started streaming a little while ago, it's possible that streamers will be gone from there in a little while. I'll look into it, but Mandy, either way, I'll be in touch with you. I'll be in touch with you later tonight, for sure. And to everybody else, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to those of you who sent super chats. Thank you to Mandy and Kara for keeping things civil in the chat. I appreciate that very much. And MD isn't on anymore. Good to know. Then I'm probably just gonna go ahead and head home. I've been having trouble talking lately. I get more tripped up over my words. I haven't been streaming enough lately. All right. In any case, have a great night, everybody. I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.